Hi, good morning. Patricia Chiwandono here with Research Technique. I'm going to explain how to find research problems briefly. Okay, so let's go to my PowerPoint here. This is the topic. Okay, so my lecture here refers to my book, Meneliti Itu Tidak Sulit, published in 2015, Chapter 1. I recommend that you read it before the session so that you have a full understanding of what I'm going to explain. So first way of finding research problem is your own curiosity. If you are curious, chances are that you can find a research problem relatively easily. Yeah. So for example, you are curious about this one thing. Is there any relationship between students' reading habits and their attitude? Yeah, you are curious about this. You want to find out whether there is a relationship between the two variables here, students' reading habits and their attitude. Now this can spark a research problem which you can later develop into a full thesis. Or you are wondering how could students manage their studying. You want to know whether they have certain strategies that they do from time to time in order to be successful in their studying. Okay, so that's another example, out of curiosity. Yeah, so the point is be curious. That might lead you to a good research problem. Second one is reading journal articles. I encourage you to find journals, language teaching journals or literature journals, and read some articles there which you are interested in. And in some research, in some research findings, you will find that some areas have not been explored. Some areas have not been studied. Some areas have not been investigated thoroughly. And then you can take that area to be of your own research, to be a research problem for your own research later. Yeah. So for example, there is a research journal article about the effect of computer language learning on students' reading skill. That's a research finding. But you realize that there are areas which have not been investigated. What about the effect of computer learning on students' speaking skill or students' writing, right? Those are areas which you can explore, which have not been researched, which have not been investigated by the researcher writing that article. Okay, so that's the value of reading journal articles. Yeah, finding areas which have not been explored. Okay, the third one is replicate. Replicate means repeat. You do the same thing again. Yeah. You read a research and then you repeat it, but with different subjects and or different settings and or different instruments. Yeah, this is legitimate. You can repeat somebody else's research provided that you do it in a different setting, different context, with different subjects or different instruments. So for example, the previous researcher used questionnaires in his or her research. And then you decide to complement the questionnaires with interviews. The same topic, you are going to do the same topic, you are going to research the same topic, but now with additional instruments, that is questionnaires and interviews. Okay, you can also replicate research in a different context. For example, you read a research about the effect of character education on students' language proficiency in one of the Western countries. You can replicate the same thing, you can do the same topic, you can research the same topic, but in an Asian countries, specifically in Malang. Yeah. So replication is also one of the ways to find a research problem. Okay. Now, good research problems must meet this criteria. It can be done through research, not through simple check of dictionaries or encyclopedia. For example, Wikipedia. something like that. Yeah. So for example, what is the meaning of slang? Now this is a bad research problem because you don't need to do research to answer this. You simply open a dictionary and then you'll find the term slang there. And that's it. You get the answer without doing research. And therefore this is a bad research problem. Or you can check Wikipedia and then you find explanation about slang there, and that's it. You don't need to do research to arrive at the answer. And that is bad research problem. Okay? Yeah. So, what then is a good research problem? See here is, what are slang terms used among manga lovers? Now, this is a good research problem because you have to do research to arrive at the answers to this question. Okay. Second one is, it contains problems which can be answered reasonably within your time and resource constraints. Yeah, so for example, this one is a bad research problem. What is the impact of virus on the world's spirituality? Look at the word spirituality here. How are you going to measure that? Are you going to go all over the world and find out the spirituality of all of the people there? How are you going to measure the spirituality? It's very difficult. It's a unthinkable task. Yeah, it's a hugely difficult task to do. Yeah. So this is bad because one of the variables here is not reasonable. It's not feasible. You just cannot do it within your time and resource constraints, and therefore it is a bad research problem. Got it? Okay. What about the good one? Okay, the good one is here. For example, what is the impact of parents' education on junior high school students' language? Now, this is a good research problem. This one is good because it requires you to go to the field and conduct or gather some data on the parents' education and then correlate it with their children's language. Yeah. And you can find the children, you can measure the language proficiency, you can collect the data about how they speak, what words they use, and those kinds of things, all the things related to their language use. And therefore, this is a good research problem. Okay, so that's my topic. I hope that you can understand it well. See you later in the next episode. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye for now.